See April 2, Indian Express newspaper. First article is no one will oppose if India backs such a process. Lavrov on Ukraine mediation. Meets Jaishankar says he will intensify efforts to bypass dollar-based system, independent foreign policy, and is not under influence of US. Sergei Lavrov indicated that if India was to play the role of mediator on the issue of Ukraine, then it can support such a process. No one will against it. No one will oppose India if it supports process. Lavrov on Ukraine mediation. RuPay platform advocated rupee ruble payment mechanism. Trade with countries like India and China many years ago and efforts to bypass the Western payment system. We don't want to depend on a system which would be closed anytime. We don't want to depend on a system which masters can steal your money overnight. Made it clear that Delhi was always in favor of resolving differences and disputes through dialogues and diplomacy. EAM emphasized the importance of cessation of violence and ending hostilities. Differences and disputes should be resolved through dialogues and diplomacy. And the position of India, which is not under any influence of US dictates. India is an important and serious country. If it ceases to play the role which provides a solution to the problem, the present condition is to provide equality and security and follow the principle of justice and India as a common partner. Ukraine and how the West has ignored responsibility and forced Russia into this straight threat, ideological and military. If India takes position of just a rational approach towards international problem, EAM noted that UNSCR 2593 expressed the concerns of the international community and spoke of humanitarian support of the Afghan people. Iran and JCPOA issues are also featured in the talk. Next article that we are moving into is related to Health Minister says no to BJP MPs bill on population control awareness, not force. Friday, that instead of using force jam run, the government has successfully used awareness and health campaigns to achieve the population control. The total fertility rate, the average number of children per woman to 2.0 at the national level. Next article that we're moving into is CJI says need independent umbrella body for central probe agencies, stating that action and inaction of CBA has raised questions regarding its credibility in some cases. The need to set up a statutory independent institution which could bring under one roof of CBA and other agencies like Enforcement Directorate and Serious Fraud Investigation Office, multiplicity of proceedings and save them from being blamed as a tool of political harassment. Need of the hour is to reclaim social legitimacy and public trust. First step to gain the same is to break the nexus with the political executive. For pluralized, India experience so far, he said, has proven that democracy is best suited for a pluralistic societies like ours, and our rich diversity cannot be sustained through dictatorial governance. In fact, the judiciary used to be flooded with a request for transfer of investigation to CBA, as it was a symbol of impartiality and independence. Whenever the citizenry doubted the skill and impartiality of its own state police, they shout investigation by CBA as they wanted justice to be done. Action and inaction have raised questions regarding its credibility in some cases. There is an immediate requirement. Independent and impartial authorities, committee akin to the one which appoints director of CBA, head of organization can be assisted by deputies who are specialists in different domains. Organization should decide as to which specialized wing should taken up investigation. Police and public order being the stateless, the burden of investigation is primarily on the state police. There is no reason why state investigative agencies cannot enjoy the same level of credibility as that of national agency, he said, adding that central law for umbrella investigative body can be suitably replicated by the state. Imperial police created by colonial masters was modeled to subdue and control the Indian citizenry, and the misuse of police by political master is not a future. Imagination of the institution of police is regrettably tarnished by allegation of corruption, police excesses, lack of impartiality, and close nexus with political classes. When you try to endure yourself to the power, you will have to face the consequence, he said. It is essential that all the institutions, including police and investigative bodies, uphold the strength and the democratic values and not allow any authoritarian tendency to creep in. This is what the article is all about. Next article that we are moving into is related to Lok Sabha passes bill to include some tribal communities in ST list in 4 UP districts. The bill seeks to include Gond, Duriya, Nayak, Oja, Padari, Rajgond community in the ST list in Chandoli, Kushinagar, Sant Kabir Nagar and Sant Ravidas Nagar districts. Next article that we are moving into is related to NCP Supriya Sool bring bill to legalize same-sex marriage. Section 377 through his landmark judgment, Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, homosexuality was effectively decriminalized. While this was much needed progressive leap forward, LGBTQIA plus individuals still face discrimination and social stigma within the society, Schultz said in the series of tweets after introducing the bill. Therefore, it is utmost important to amend the Special Marriages Act 1954 to legalize same-sex marriage. Next article that we are moving into is related to 40 years treaty, Antarctic bill introduced in Lok Sabha. Let us see in detail about this article. Union government has introduced the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 to protect the Antarctic environment, associated ecosystem, and give effect to the Antarctic Treaty. The bill is applicable to Indian citizens as well as foreigners. Who can be an Indian law be applicable on foreign citizens? How can you punish a foreign citizen if he or she commits an offence under the law? This is the first question. TMC member Saugata Rai said, I don't know that what authority our government has over Antarctica, which is still uncharted territory. Now the minister wants to prohibit the Indian expeditions to Antarctica without permit. Actually, we have a treaty called Antarctic Treaty signed in 1959. It now has 54 signatories. As per the treaty, it is mandatory and binding on all the member countries to have some kind of provision to prevent or check the unlawful activities at their research station. Once the bill comes into force, it will apply to Indians, foreigners, corporations, firms, joint ventures functioning in India, and any vessel or aircraft that is either India or other part of Indian expedition. There are many countries which are yet to bring domestic legal legislation on Antarctica, but slowly all countries are doing this as a activity in Antarctica is expected to increase in the coming years. We are also putting in domestic legislation in keeping the treaty and various protocols to which we are signatories, as this is need to be done. The bill further prohibits drilling, dredging, excavation or collection of mineral resources, even doing anything to identify where such mineral deposits occur. The only exception is for scientific research with a permit. There will be strict prohibition on damaging native plants or flying or landing helicopters, using firearms that could disturb the birds and animals, remove soil or any biological material native to Antarctica, engage in any activity that could adversely change the habitat of birds and animals or harm them. The microscopic introduction of animals, birds, plants, microscopic organisms that are not native to Antarctica is also prohibited. Violators can face the imprisonment as well as penalties. The bill also provides for Indian tour operators to be able to operate in Antarctica after acquiring a permit. There are 40 research stations in Antarctica, of which 2 are Maitri and Bharati are Indians. Okay. Need of Antarctic billers, exploitation of marine living resources and human presence in Antarctica to regulate tourism and fishing in Antarctica. Antarctica is no man's land, that's why domestic law is required. India has signatory to Antarctic Treaty since 1983. In 1959, 12 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty to prevent the continent from being militarized and to establish a center of peaceful activities. Key highlight of the bill is prohibit Indian expedition to Antarctica carrying certain activities in Antarctica without a permit. Indian Antarctic program started in 1981. Dakshina Gangotri, Maitri and Bharati are the 3 Indian bases on Antarctica. Facilitate activities on Indian Antarctic program include management of Antarctic tourism and sustainable development of fisheries. Constitution of Antarctic Fund, which shall be applied applied towards the welfare of the Antarctic research work and the protection of Antarctic environment. Establish a committee on Antarctic governance and environmental protection to monitor, implement, and ensure compliance with relevant to international laws, emission standards, and rules of protection. Implement Convention on Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources 1982 and Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty 1998. This is what all about this article. Then let us continue the remaining in the next video. Thank you. If you like the video, please do share, like, comment, and subscribe.